Hey guys, this is Bryan here at Status Skateshop in Carlsbad, California. It's bright and early, and we are getting ready to connect with my buddy Stefan at Curfboard. Stefan is out of Germany, so it's going to be his afternoon and our morning. We're going to be talking about all things Curfboard, but especially the new Fish Pro lineup. A few really cool new complete boards from Curfboards, some of the coolest surf skates around. So come on in and join me. Stefan, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. Is that
all right? It's great to see you.
Great to see you. Can you hear me?
I can. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
I see we're both just literally surrounded by Fish Pros here today.
That's cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm really glad we finally caught up, and yeah, we will of course be talking about the brand new Fish Pro series of boards, and that's going to be pretty exciting for fans of Curfboard and those that are new to it. But I really wanted to get a high level just kind of history. I think there's a lot of people that maybe they've heard of Curfboard, but you know, you guys are in Germany. I think you're in Munich right now, is that right? Or around Munich?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. So how did the whole thing start? Where did the idea come from, and how did you get from there to here?
So, I think it started like, I think when we were 18 already. We were trying to simulate surfing. As soon as skateboards came out, we were on skateboards, and then it started pretty early that we tried to improve the skate experience to be closer to surfing, or what we then did snowboarding, for example. My business partner, he's been, he's an engineer, and he's been doing this for many, many years. He's working on truck systems that were different, that were self-regulating, not only for skateboards, also for other products like bicycles and stuff. But then, we almost forgot about it until his son picked up one of his products, from the past. And that was in 2015. And in 2015, he had the breakthrough idea. I don't know how he came up with it, and, tried rapid prototyping, a little bit of mechanics, and it really worked impressively well. We were like, oh my goodness, this is it, right? And so we said, okay, this is the moment. Let's do a Kickstarter campaign. We exceeded our funding target quickly, within a couple of weeks. Then we filed for patents. We optimized the design for manufacturability. We founded the company. And like half a year later, we had the first container with product and started to sell. And then we won a big award at the ISPO, which is a big sports fair here in Munich, for brand new design, which gave us, a booth there for free. And we were suddenly in all this skate scene with all the big companies, and that's how it started. Suddenly we were part of it.
That's really, really cool. Now, you must have to answer this question almost every day. I think what's one of the coolest things about the Curfboard system is just how adaptable it is. It's one of the first boards I'll put a beginner on because it's very accessible for a beginner to feel successful. At the same time, I feel like there's so many subtleties that are inside that system that you could grow with the Curfboard system for years and continue to find just kind of new nuance, new ways of seeing how to get that truck to react. How in the world do you answer? You have somebody, they say, oh, what do you do? And you're like, I make surf skates. And they're like, oh yeah, I rode one of those once. And you want to get them on the Curfboard. Yeah, because the Curfboard experience is different than what they're expecting. How do you put that in words if you don't have a Curfboard in your hand? How do you try and explain that unique experience of riding the Curfboard?
Yeah, I think, explaining it is really difficult. You have to feel it. Once you feel it, you got it, right? I think everybody who stands on it immediately gets the feel. But if I have to describe it, I would say, look, It's a super smooth, real surf experience ride that you get. It gives you a lot of confidence and control because it's self-regulating. It's adapting to your own weight and to your own style, you know. The more weight and pressure you put on it, the more control you immediately have. As you said, it's easy for beginners to step on it first time. People who have never skateboarded or never snowboarded, they step on it and they're surprised, you know, that it works and that they can ride, you know, and then you can really progress with it. You can really bring it to different levels of experience, you know, from simple, you know, pumping, easy riding to long distance pumping, generating super fast speed, and then also like extreme surf skating maneuver training. It's a path that you can go through with that board or with that truck system. And you know, you might want to need to make some adjustments to the setup, as we did with the Fish Pro, as you know, right? If you want to improve the surf training part of it, right? If you become more professional.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So one of the things I often emphasize with riders, especially if they have experience with another surf skate, is I'll encourage them to experiment more with driving their turn by leaning heel side or leaning toe side, more of a similar to a snowboard experience. And they always have that option to still really drive the front end, to still put some extra pressure on the front end and just make it work exactly how you want. But I really feel like when riders allow themselves to trust the board a little bit more, trust that the lean is going to turn into a hard turn, and make sure that their body is ready for that and just following it. You know, on flat ground, feels like as you're turning, it almost feels like you're always going downhill a little bit. You've got that extra bit of gravity right there, whichever direction you're turning.
Yeah.
You know, certainly.
Yeah. I think, you know, the main reason why this is because the truck works really different than other skateboard or surf skate trucks, because the center of gravity of our truck is in the middle. You know, it always stays in the middle. The deck and the front behaves like this, and therefore stabilizes all the time. Once you put pressure on the front foot, it goes straight, right? It straightens out. And you have to actually, like powder snowboarding or in surfing, you have to lean a little bit more on the back foot with your weight and let the front foot come, and let it come and allow it into the turn. And then you carve into the turn with the back foot, the back rail, I would say, of a snowboard or of a surfboard. And you control the front foot, controls the turn and the ride of the turn. But then once you put more weight on it, it straightens out. And I think that gives people this different feel, but you have to allow it. As you said, you know, it's like, it's a different system. You know, a lot of people look at it and say, oh, the truck is so loose. How can this even work?
Right.
I mean, this is something you got to experience. And I encourage people to try it, you know, like, let's just try it and feel it. You know, it's a different system. It is, and it's surprisingly efficient, you know, because we don't lose any energy in the bushings or the springs. So the pumping is so easy, in particular for beginners. They come to a lot of speed, and then you also get that surf snowboard kind of feel, as you described it too, when you allow the board to lead into the turns, and it always comes under you, and it always wants to complete the turn.
There is that trust. There's that bit of trust, but it'll be there. So I mean, part of what I'm realizing with the new Fish Pro is really everything you just said in terms of foot placement, in terms of pressure, in terms of that balance and lean. Everything's been integrated into the shape, into the size of the tail. I'm seeing some more concave on this board. So can you tell me a little bit about kind of functionally the design of the Fish Pro and the thinking that went into this?
Yeah, we've been trying a lot of different molds, obviously, before you come up with a product like this. And I think the main elements of the Fish Pro is we've chosen again a very wide deck, so you've got a good stance for your feet. We increased a little bit the concave, but not too much, because our front truck doesn't need too much pressure. As I explained, on the front rail, if you have more concave with our board, it feels a little weird, honestly, with the truck. So I think that concave that we have now is the optimum for the combination of keeping your foot in position in extreme maneuvers, in slides, in laybacks, and still give you that confidence that and the good stance, you don't need any more concave than that, but it has more than our previous models. And I think, I've been riding a couple of boards with a lot more concave, but it feels a little uncomfortable when you stand on it because your foot gets bent weirdly, So this is really nice. And then we also added that little nose kick, which again, you don't even need to look where you stand. You can immediately feel it, right? You slide your front foot and you feel, oh, now it's locked in somehow, right? So the position comes natural. And that works well. And then again, we've kept the board very wide in the tail area. Still, we got a fish design because that's really what people are looking for. But at the same time, we try to include those elements of having enough width and making sure that the foot placement is stable, that you have that confidence even in the most radical maneuvers. People are doing aerials, these days, also in surf skating. They land them stably. They immediately slide back in the right position. And these are the main design elements that
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, you definitely nailed it. As soon as I hop on this board, it feels great. I mean, it does. It feels like your feet, as you noted, they go to the right place. You're on the right spot. So you certainly made some excellent decisions. And one of the first things we noted on the new Fish Pro, on prior models, typically the front truck has often been mounted directly to the deck, and the rear truck usually has a single. In this case, you guys have chosen to pre-wedge the front truck. Actually, this might be de-wedged, but either way, we've got an angled riser under the front truck with the tall side to the nose. You mentioned a little bit earlier how that tied into some of the performance aspects. What does that really do to our ride experience? Because personally, I do prefer the wedging like this, and I'm just curious, why do I prefer it? What's really going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, so I think, you feel it when you step on it. As a more advanced rider, this allows you for more lean off the deck. The wedging, as you have it just explained, whether it's wedge or de-wedge, I don't know the terminology properly, but it's important. It will allow the deck to, get another 10, 12 degrees of lean versus, initially we had maybe 40, now it's 50 something. So that's extreme lean off the deck already. And that gives you, just a more surfy experience in these turns because the carves are more, elevated by it. And then on the other hand, when you get back out of the turn, the truck generates even more forward movement and forward speed because the deck returns to the middle position from a higher elevation. And so this drives the board a little bit more energetic, I would say. It gives you a more surfy feel of it. It is not as easy for beginners. So I think for beginners, the other setup is the no wedge setup is easier because the board is lower to the ground, right? But for more advanced riders who are looking for more surf feel and more, advanced maneuver training, this wedging definitely is a huge step forward. And we've had that feedback from so many people now that we've decided that for all our performance surf skate models, in the future we include these setup, while for the surf cruiser models, more the longboard style models, we keep it low to the ground, easy to pump, easy to ride. But then for the surf training models, we really do this setup. It's really
wow. No, that's a great explanation. So it's the kind of the wedging sort of puts the pro in the Fish Pro. That makes
It
that makes a lot of sense.
It also requires the rider to ride a little bit more actively, right? With more upper body engagement. But that's what, a more advanced rider does anyways. And so it becomes a natural part of the turning.
That's really cool. And people should know if you selected this board and you're like, oh no, I want to try it without the risers, you take the risers out. Your bolts are plenty long, so it's an easy conversion to give that a try. I guess finally, you touched on it already. I mean, it's a compelling looking board from the top. I think this decision to put the traction pad on as a graphic on the top of the board, I can imagine arguing both ways at the whiteboard for whether or not this was gonna be a good idea, because I feel like it could have turned out not so good. And instead it's totally compelling. It looks great. It stands out. It knows, it speaks volumes in terms of there is no doubt in the world this is a surf skate. You see it, it looks cool. As you said, you've got that kind of built-in fish design. You guys really nailed it with three graphic designs. I grabbed this one here. I know I'm surrounded by some others around me, I think. So what really went into that side of it? Just sort of the aesthetics. I'd say it's a different look for Curfboard, but I feel like you went all in on that surf skate aesthetic, and it feels to me like you really.
Yeah, I think it's our journey of initially being very engineering based company, and now with more people in our marketing team and so on, being surfers, living near the coast, etc., influencing designs. But on the other hand, I think it's also part of the journey of saying, hey, we come from a landlocked situation right here in southern Germany, and we dream of these waves and the surf all day. It's like all day, all night. It's a terrible situation if you're landlocked like we are. I mean, you don't know because you live by the ocean, right? But for us, it has always been a long travel. The closest spot is probably, I don't know, 1,000 miles, 800 miles from where we live. It's terrible. And then because of this, we encourage ourselves to just do a design that resembles surfing even more, and gives us that tool to be in the skate park and feel like we're surfing. So that actually is the reason behind the designs. I think the footpad really worked out super well. It was pretty difficult to get the design on the grip tape this way with the shady footpad design. But then on the other hand, it turned out so well. You got this stringer in the middle. And with the different graphics that we chose for the bottom, basically, it's the ocean that we're dreaming of. It's the first wooden surfboards that bring this excitement of surfing to us. And then, the reminder of these dawn patrol sessions at sunrise, this is what is behind the design. So we have the wooden surfboards, the ocean that we're dreaming of, and then the dawn patrol sessions that we always want to do.
That's really cool. I think you just really opened my eyes in terms of how meaningful that aesthetic is, to see that in the inside the house when you're not riding it, and just a nice reminder that you've got access to that surfing experience. Just got to grab the board and go. So
yeah, it's like when I come to the office, and I sit down here in front of my computer and start working. Every day I see like, oh my God, this is surfing. I love it.
That's perfect. How has this?
Many people can relate to this. Many people, especially landlocked folks, that are usually the main surf skaters, right? They can relate a lot to it.
Yeah. It's gone really well. I know our own feedback here at Status has been great since we've gotten this board. We've made one of these available for a test ride, so visitors here have been lucky enough to ride it. I know that you're very active in terms of bringing a board with you and meeting with riders, both advanced riders and new riders. How has the experience been launching this board in Germany and on your travels? What kind of feedback are you getting so far?
Yeah, it's been outstanding. It's like a lot of people said this is almost a transformation for our company, with the new designs, with the more aggressive shape, with the performance setup, with the wedged razor. It takes us into the next level of surf skating. It's really amazing feedback. People love the surfy feel of the ride, especially in more advanced riders. And then they love that they can do more radical surf maneuvers with it and, improve their surf training. And, also the designs, a lot of people connect with the designs. So far we've got pretty much equal sales distribution on all designs. So it's really impressive also to see that all these designs have their audience, right? And that really a huge confirmation also to our marketing team who did the designs, basically confirming their work was.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool when you mentioned how kind of evenly the different styles were going out there. Well, again, we couldn't be more excited to have the new Fish Pro here available in the U.S. at Status Skateshop. Come on by, ride a test, ride one of the demos. As you noted as well, we still have the waveboard. We still have a couple Alanis, a couple classics. So we still have some boards that fit into that cruiser mode. My personal Curfboard is actually a custom setup. So I took the trucks and found a really cool deck that I liked and drilled some new holes and made it an 18-inch wheelbase, and I just love it. We have the Curfboard setup, the Curfboard trucks, wheels, bearings set up on a 5-foot longboard, and it's really, really cool because you can actually have people maneuvering that board successfully, pumping that board successfully, working on their literal longboard footwork on that board. So it's an extremely versatile system, and I think you guys have really just nailed it, bringing this flagship fish to the top of the lineup. Certainly well done. Anything else to add before we let you go?
No, thank you very much for that feedback. And, I'm glad we work with you and you're distributing our products in the US. You make it accessible to a broader audience than we could do it. So thank you very much for having us in your shop. And I'm looking forward to many, many seasons to come, successful surf skating, and be assured on my next trip to the US, I'll come by and
Can't wait. That's going to be a blast, Stefan. It was a pleasure to connect with you today, and I can't be thankful for your time and more grateful for the amazing product you guys are building. So thanks again, and have a great rest of your evening out there.
Thank you very much, Bryan. You have a great day and happy surf skating.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.